Donard, how are you doing?
Hi, Ariel. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Uh, Doing really, really well. And we were chatting, by the way, a little bit with Donald, just catching up before we started, letting everybody in. And I was telling Donald that these lunch and learns to me are super special because as the company grows, we have more than 1,000 people going through the program right now. I get to spend less time with students myself, and then the lunch and learns are like this precious moment for me to connect one-on-one with micronauts who went through the whole journey, got jobs, whose lives have changed, and it's always like a highlight of my week. I always like leave inspired and kind of like moved in many ways, and I look forward to hearing more about your journey, Donor, which I know has been quite special and not necessarily an easy one or an obvious one, but I'm very excited to have you here today.
Thank you, Ariel. It's a pleasure being here, and thank you for giving me space to tell my story.
Oh, of course. So like, we will wait maybe 2 more minutes before we start with like the more like serious questions, but just to start getting some context, like where are you today?
Today, I am from Kosovo. So I live in Kosovo. I live in Jakova. It's a little city of Kosovo. Kosovo, who doesn't know, is in the middle of Balkan. It's a little country. We are new. We just got independent. We didn't just got independent, but it nearly got it nearly 10 years somehow. Yeah. So yeah, more than 10 years, of course. So yeah. Sorry. No, continue.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I'm here. I started working, which we're gonna talk later about it and everything. So I'm working from here, remote from my city. For now, I'm gonna be here, but later we're gonna see where I'm gonna be, what the future is gonna bring for me.
Awesome. I was just thinking when you mentioned about Kosovo, I was thinking about one of my first experiences with Microverse was with I think it was our fifth and our sixth student ever in 2018, were two students, one from Kosovo, one from Serbia. And I know, the two countries haven't had a great relationship. And one of them sent me an email. He said, Ariel, I'm from Kosovo, and my coding, back then, you only had one coding partner, and that's it. It's not like today that you change coding partners very often. And he said, my coding partner is from Serbia. And as you might know, our countries haven't, had a great relationship. And if I were to tell my dad, my uncle that I'm working with someone from their country, like they will get really mad at me because they were part of the war. Like there's a lot of baggage there. But to be honest, I'm really excited to be working with this other person because the past is the past, and I want to, kind of like I believe that in Microverse I can like build bridges with people who are different to me, but at the same time the same, and put like politics like aside. And he said like, but I wonder if the other person feels the same way. And the other person reached out and said almost the same things. And I was so moved by that kind of, completely unlikely thing to happen so early in the journey of Microverse, because it was exactly the type of environment that we wanted to create, a place where people can come and put their differences aside to together kind of build, better features for each other. How's been your experience at Microverse? Or like I don't know if you had a chance to work with other, people in the region, but we have students in more than 100 different countries. How was that part of the experience, like working with people who are very different to you, even from places that necessarily your shared past is not a positive one?
What can I say about that? I was a guy who was, of course, I was, as we know now, I was a bartender, and I was always working with people. But I met people from other countries, of course, who came to the bar and everything. But I didn't met a lot of people from other countries. And when I started Microverse, yes, of course, now I have friends. I can say all over the world. If I want to go somewhere, even if I don't have direct connection with somebody, I can use the full students. I'm here. Can I call somebody who wants to meet me or something? I think this is the best thing, one of the best things of Microverse, because you're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to learn a lot of culture. You're going to start judging less, because you're going to learn a lot about how a lot of countries suffer, and for example, if you miss something, you're going to start saying, no, I don't have to say I missed that because somebody doesn't have it at all. And yeah, this is what it has grown me a lot. I think meeting a lot of people and from a lot of regions and a lot of countries, it will grow you a lot. And this is what I really loved about Microverse, and that is continuing too, because I think that will never stop. Community of Microverse is really big and it's just growing every day more and more. So yeah.
I'm so glad that you had such a positive experience in that sense. And the company you work for today, and I'm kind of like getting ahead of the game. We'll go back to the basics in a moment, but the company you work for right now, where are the people of the company located?
From my company, okay. The company is called Master WiZR. It is US-based company, but they are originally from Norway because the company is registered in Norway. The company is mostly, it has a lot of, from my country, from Kosovo. It has workers from Uganda, but it has from Tunisia. It has a lot of, from other countries. I don't really know exactly which countries it has, but it is mostly growing. So it will have a lot of workers all over the world. So that's the key. It's fully remotely. Nobody works anywhere. So yeah, this is my company.
That's amazing. I'll ask you more about the company, but
yes,
before we do that, by the way, just for people to know, there are two tabs in the bottom of the Zoom UI. There's the chat tab. If you want to say hi, if you want to, kind of say which country you are from today, you can share all of that. But if you have a question for Donard, please don't put it in the chat, put it in the Q&A tab. I already saw that Abdel, for example, has also already asked the question. We probably won't have time to answer all the questions, but if you have a question, put it there. We'll try to answer them as we talk. All right. So without much further ado, I guess the highlight or the title of today's lunch runner was like from bartender to software engineer. Donner, like, tell us a little bit about yourself. What were you doing before joining Microverse?
So as you know, now I didn't have a technical background until I joined Microverse. I was a bartender for more than 7 years. Yeah, I had a lot of different jobs, but mostly I worked as a bartender. I worked as a sales, but most of the time I was a bartender. And we started, me and my uncle's son, he's a programmer. He's one of the guys that he pushed me, and two other friends of mine, but he was the main reason why I started programming. We were working with Shopify. Who doesn't know Shopify is a drop shipping platform when you can use products to sell. So that was the first thing that I was starting to doing with websites. From that, of course, we failed one time, 2 times, 3 times. We made 1 or 2 sales in the 3rd time, but then we needed money and we didn't have that much money that we needed. So yes, I started because I think I'm really good in marketing. So I wanted to do something with marketing. My uncle's son lived in Pristina. Pristina is the capital of Kosovo. So I was going there through the weekends. One day I just got up and I said, man, I'm going to come here. I'm going to move here and I'm going to see if I can finish a course or boot camp or something that has to do, but I was focused in marketing that time. Then pandemic happened, and pandemic was something really bad, but I won from that situation. I really won from that. So
because you couldn't work as a bartender during the lockdown, I guess.
I had a lot of free time because everything was locked down. For a long time, we had to close everything at 7, the curfew and everything. So I was home. I was with my uncle's son. He said, man, why don't you try learning HTML, CSS? And if you start, if you see that you want to do this, continue that. Then we started self-learning with him. Then I found a course. I finished that. It was just basic HTML, CSS, and little JavaScript. Then I found an intensive training for a week. When I met somebody, it was the sister of somebody that finished Microverse, and she told me about Microverse, and this is then the deployment and everything. And the 5th of July came, and here we are today.
Well, so you had, other than that course on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but very basic. That was all your coding experience.
Yeah.
That's
I was ready for the trial projects.
That's amazing. And by the way, for some reason, the chat is disabled for attendees right now. I'm checking with the Microverse team to see what's happening. I'm really sorry about that because I love hearing people's comments. Normally there are a lot. I was kind of surprised that I wasn't seeing anything. But fortunately, the Q&A, it is working. So please, if you have questions, leave them in the Q&A. And when you leave your question, you can use it also to say hi. But we won't have chat today, I think. So I'm really sorry about that. We'll get this fixed for the next Launch and Learn. So, actually, two of the questions so far were, what are your actual programming skills? And then what level of education did you have before entering Microverse? And, previous coding experience, like almost none whatsoever. And then which level of education did you have before?
I had only high school. I started physics, but I never finished it. I just finished the first year. Then I started working. I had to work, so I never finished the physics. So I think that was for the best thing. So if I was doing physics right now, I wouldn't start programming and we wouldn't be here. So I think everything that happened for this reason. So I'm really happy that I'm here. So
absolutely.
About my programming skills, as I mentioned before joining, I had HTML, CSS, and little JavaScript. Then I improved to React, of course, Redux. Then we moved to Ruby, Rails, and PostgreSQL. But now I'm working as front-end engineer, so I'm really focused in React, and I really like it. But I will move to full stack, which I'm going to learn Node.js. So this will be my next goal. The next month that are coming.
All right, tell us a little bit more about the job that you have today. What does the company do? What is your role? And I mean, you mentioned that you are like a front-end software engineer there. What are you working on for that company?
My company is a communication and presentation company. So we have products about presentation, about communication. So mostly we are focused in improving everything and making everything as modern as possible. So we can, when we want to present, and for example, in this case, we can use our app and not using Zoom. Let's say I'm just suggesting that. If we want to present, we don't need to use PowerPoint, but we're going to use our product in the future because it will be, I think that will be the future. My position is front end. I'm working in this presentations app. And yeah, first, of course, I'm as a beginner. Whole my team is fully supporting me. So, but I think I progressed a lot and I have a full support. So yes, I'm really happy and really in peace with myself.
Oh, I know I'm going to ask this question because someone will ask it because it always gets asked. Something people ask, what is your new salary? I won't ask that, but how, from a salary point of view, how has it changed comparing the new job versus what you were making as a bartender?
I can say that my life has changed from the last 3 months until now. So somebody else was last year and somebody else is the new version of me is Donard 2.0 now. So yeah, just do programming, guys, and you're gonna see in the end what's gonna happen, and everything will be different. Believe me.
I'm glad to hear that it has made a difference in your life. In which ways, other than salary, which I think it's a metric, but I think it's just, at least personally, money is never kind of a goal. If something, it's a means to an end. In which ways have your life changed with this new job in your life?
Again, I have to get back to bartending and come back where I'm here. I was a bartender, so I was all the time with people. I had all the time. I was all day with people, and I'm fully extrovert. Of course, I need sometimes alone, but I'm fully extrovert. So I came from Pristina to my country when I started Microverse. We had a deal with my family. I'm not going to work. I'm going to be fully focused on Microverse. They're going to support me until I found a job, just finish it. And now I got back in my room, fully online, fully remotely and everything. But when I got the contract and everything, I'm never going to forget that feeling. And now I can fully support it, being for my family, for everything that I need. But yes, everything in thinking, in mind, in problem solving, in everything that has to do with life, everything has changed. As I'm saying, now is different than it was before, because I did a different life, a totally different life. And now it's something really different from what I was doing.
What did your family say when you told them about the new job?
This is a funny story, because I was with my mother and my uncle, and we talk about this a lot of times. After I got the job, my uncle was saying, man, to be honest, I have to say something to you, and I want to be really honest with you. He said, I didn't really trust, because I was that guy that did a lot of things, and then that I would get back 25 years old. In fact, 24 I started, but got back and being really serious and changing everything. He was saying, man, good job. And my mother was saying, I didn't want to say this, but I was afraid too, of course. But but yes, I saying, man, now everything is different, everything changed. I can be more, not more, but fully supportive to everything they want and everything in my home. So yes.
That's amazing. And you share a little story with me that I thought was amazing, of what happened when you shared the news on LinkedIn about your job.
When after
When you shared the news of the job on LinkedIn.
I don't know. First, that feeling that I had when I got the contract is unforgettable. After that, when I posted, everybody was calling, texting, congratulations. But as I said, as I told you, it was just LinkedIn and my community of Microverse, and my best friend and friends, and less people know about this. But after, as I told you, after when we shared the post about the webinar, I shared it in Instagram, and there is where all my friends and everybody is there. Everybody knew that for real, and everybody knew that I got a job, because they were not knowing that. And yeah, I just start having calls, messages, everything. So yeah, I'm really happy for that. And some people got happy with me too a lot. So yeah,
Oh,
I'm
that's awesome.
I'm thankful for that. Sorry.
I didn't know that it had been on Instagram, where like kind of the word started like spreading out on the people. Okay, no, that's awesome. So like, what was the reason you decided to join Microverse, or why did you consider joining Microverse instead of just continuing to learn on your own?
I wanted to make a big change. I was not happy doing my old job, so I needed to start something new, and I needed to find myself, and I found it myself. But I needed somebody to keep me on the straight line, or it should be a school, a serious school, or something like Microverse that is going to see everything that you're doing through the meetings, through the task and everything that you have through the days. So everything is transparent. Then you have the deadline on Saturday. So this is the main thing that pushed me to join Microverse, because I knew that I have to finish everything through the week. So I will be here all day. And yeah, everything was done in 7 months, just for the first week that I repeated. And I think that's the best thing that happened there. One of the best things that started that, but yeah, it was really good. And it was the best 7 months that I will never forget, of course.
Someone was actually asking, are 7 months of Microverse enough to become a full stack programmer? What do you think?
Yes, it can be, but it cannot, because of course, everything depends on me and you and everybody who wants to do programming. But following the program, yes, you can learn a lot. And if you want to learn, you just have to stay in your laptop, in your computer, or how you work. Just think that you will not stay here for 7 hours. That's not true. You will be here all day. But if you stay here all day, following the program, learning by yourself, working on side project as much as you can, that will be side projects, team projects, whatever you can do. Yes, it can be in 7 months that you will be ready for a job, of course. Of
Yeah,
course,
it's not the same to do 7 months where you put like 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, and 7 months where you put 8 to 10 hours a day, right? Those are two
yes,
very different versions of 7 months.
yes, of course, of course. Yeah, but 8 to 10 hours. After 8 to 10 hours, you have to work in your projects if you want to do that. So
You
yes,
can do it.
of
Hey,
course.
by the way, someone was mentioning that my voice is not clear, or like the volume is very low. Donald, have you noticed that as well?
No.
Okay, that's weird. If that ever happens, please let me know. I'm using an external microphone. It shouldn't happen, but because we don't have the chat, it's kind of hard for people to tell me. But anyway, it sounds like it might be just a problem of that person. All right, so of all the things that you learned at Microverse, technical stuff, non-technical stuff, what was, you think, the most important lesson learned?
In Microverse,
Yeah,
non-technical.
or technical, like what was the most important thing?
For technical, you will learn a lot. You will be really good. Either if you want to go for front end, if you want to go for back end or full stack, you will be ready, whatever you want. I would like to talk about non-technical because that is one of the best things. And I made a lot of friends. I still have a lot of contacts. We had a team throughout Microverse. You're gonna learn a lot about everything, and the most thing, as I mentioned before, you're gonna learn a lot about cultures, about everything. You're gonna start planning trips somewhere that you never thought about that you're gonna go in a place because you're gonna have a friend somewhere. And yes, really, for example, I have a friend. Let's say I have a friend in Nico. You know Nico, that was in a webinar here. He's one of my friends that I made through the journey. Yes. I'm just taking as an example. He lives in Philippines. So I, for sure, someday I'm going to go there, take a trip, call Nico. And yeah, this is one of the best things. And how you're going to see it for yourself, who gonna join Microverse and how it will go.
That's awesome. I love that the people, getting to know people and getting to know their cultures is the most important thing you learned. It's something that is like underappreciated, I think, right, by people who are outside. But when you, well, first as a human, I think it's a very enriching like experience. But then when you're working for an international company, having that empathy, having those skills, having the kind of the capacity to work with people who are different to you, it's everything, right?
Yeah,
Being a great
diversity is one of the main thing in everything. So when you start fully not judging everything, it will be really easy for you in every international company, and it's just going to be everybody is the same. So yes, I love you, you love me, and yeah, that's the best thing ever. But yeah, beside the community of Microverse is not community, it's a family who knows how to use it and how to work with it. As I mentioned before, we were a team through Microverse, and Microverse is all about collaboration, right? Yeah. So I knew some people that didn't use it, but for me and my team, from the beginning to the end, we were a team of 5 to 6, 7. Somebody was coming, so we were the same people. We were doing our projects, but most of the time we were on calls, helping each other. If it got a bug or something, we were there. We were everybody for there, but all of our team got finished in time, and most of us has jobs. We were doing algos and everything. So yeah, this is why I really suggest for everybody who will join Microverse, use the community and use the people that are inside, because that will make it beautiful, and that will make you easily understand everything.
How did you get to know this 6, 7 special people that became your family, your network, your team within Microverse?
How did I know that?
Yes, were they part of your morning sessions, your stand-up team? They were your coding partners. Like, we have a lot of different ways in which you get to interact with different people, but normally you're changing the people you are with regularly. But it sounds like this group of people, you always stay together in one way or another. Who did you find? Like, in which session did you meet them initially?
I think everything started from partners. Then we went, of course, morning session, stand up, of course. But then after some times, even Microverse was knowing that we are staying together. So leave us partners, leave us in teams and everything. So yes, but then everybody was, for example, let's say somebody else, it was coming, who want to work with us and work as a team. We were there, just come, we will work together. If you don't understand that, we were a team, let's say somebody was from Togo, somebody was from Ivory Coast, Ghana, Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, Philippines, let's say, Venezuela, and everywhere. So that it is really beautiful. And we have a meeting. We want to make it every week, but now we are just keeping once a month, and we just want to keep that friendship that we had there, and we did what we did there. So yes, totally.
That's amazing. What was the hardest thing? You mentioned before that you repeated your first week at Microverse. Tell me, why did you repeat that first week? And was that the hardest moment at Microverse, or was there something else that you think is the hardest thing about Microverse?
No, it has a lot of points and a lot of hardest moments, of course, but that was for me that I started and I never worked with linters. That was really hard for me, and it was really stressful, but I repeated because of the linters, and I don't really remember, but it was just, I think it was just configuration something, so it was just a command or something else. But after that week, when I found it, it was really funny how it happened. But after that, what was the hardest part for me? I had an operation in November. I was in the middle of Ruby, so I never stopped it. My team who was there knows that I couldn't move, I couldn't sit for more than nearly 2 months. Yeah, totally. So I finished Ruby Rails in bed. I was laying down there.
Holy cow.
Yes, I'm really proud of that because it was really, I'm really proud of that because I didn't know that I could do that. But yes, I was all day in that time, was all day fully on laptop. So yes, it was really great, but I tried to manage and finish everything on time. And I think that made me stronger, and I don't want to surrender. So yeah.
But it shows a lot of character that I think we were mentioning before. You were saying, hey, I'm grateful to Microverse, but I always say that this is 99.9999% your job, right? And I think there is a theme among all the people who, we see completing Microverse, and I get to talk to them. And it's really hard to measure this. I wish we had a kind of like a quantitative way of figuring this out, because we would love to find people like this around the world, right? It's like, it's this drive, right? It's like, you know what you want and you're committed to that, and you'll stick to that, because at the end of the day, I think becoming a software engineer, like changing your life in any way, you don't need to be a genius. It's all about determination and hard work. And you can't have work if you're not determined, but knowing what you want in life and sticking to that is so important. And then once you know what you want, we can come as Microverse and say, okay, we will give you kind of the framework, the accountability to keep you focused. But if you don't have that clear thinking of what you want, then there's nothing we can do. So you clearly show that in those 2 months that you were in bed. But did you at any point, kind of like we always call like imposter syndrome, like did you ever feel like, hey, maybe I'm not good enough for this, maybe I'm gonna fail? Of
course, that is the part of the journey, but I try to be as positive as possible. We have to never forget that hard work will always get paid, so that will be the push. But for me, I think the change in that I made in careers made me always, when I start doubting in myself and doing something, I was just saying, man, you were a bartender, get back, you are developing now, you need to focus in this, you're gonna do it. So yeah, just try to talk to yourself, be as positive, try to read any book about positive thinking, or it will help, and it will find you. Try to not think some things, but imposter syndrome will be part of you, and it's part of everybody. But just try, take a walk, do something, go to the gym, just try to find something that is gonna lose your mind from that, and everything will be good, and no worries for that.
I heard the funny reasoning the other day around imposter syndrome that was something like this. if you think that you're not good enough, you are the one who is telling yourself that you're not good enough. But if you're not good enough, why do you trust yourself telling you that you're not good enough? If other people, who know much more than you do, who are ready, like if everybody's telling you, hey, you're not good enough, okay, maybe I don't think that's gonna happen. And even there, but if you're not good enough and you're telling yourself you're not good enough, why will you trust someone who is not good enough, right? So like, don't trust that voice that something says like you're not good enough. It's just, if you know what you want, just stick to that. And I was telling you, Donner, I think the best part about the Lunch and Learns is like meeting people like you. I mean, you clearly have very strong drive. You had a clear, goal, but you're not a superhuman. You're not, like a Nobel Prize, winner who, you are like a normal human being with a strong conviction of what you want to do, who put a lot of hard work. That's it. That's what it takes, right?
Thank you.
And I want everybody here, if anybody's doubting themselves, like to know that, hey, Donor, even though he's at the end of that journey, at the end of Microverse with the job, it's just a normal human being, and who just work really hard, stick to the plan, and you will make it. But talking about the plan, you finished the program quite fast in 7 months, which is the fastest you can finish the program. You only repeated the first week. How was the process of finding that, precious first job after the program?
The last week, look, I think when I started programming, every route was opening for me, because I think I was opening a new space in my mind, and it's going to have full of memories. So I was doing the right thing, and I was having a lot of possibility of a lot of chances. So the last week that I got graduated, I got a call from a woman from London. Her name is Susan. She has an idea about a startup, and she called me voluntary because it was just the idea and she needed a team. So everybody would
how did she find you, by the way?
Through LinkedIn.
Why do you think she reached out to you?
She saw my profile.
Why not other profile? There are so many profiles on LinkedIn.
I don't know, maybe she liked my profile, and this is why she called me. And the best thing for that is I said yes. I would suggest everybody who's here, please, if you got a chance, even after Microverse or throughout Microverse, doing something without getting paid, do that. That will be the key for you to find a job, because most of companies, of course, as me, they need experience. So if you're gonna have experience without payment, everything, just do that. You will become stronger. You will have experience, and you will have something to show. And I said yes. So yes, I started that. We had a lot of meetings. And I got earlier than the other members of my team. So when we were trying to have a democratic way of choosing the leaders, because in the beginning we were 5 teams: front end, back end, marketing, product development, and everything. I had the luck of the front end team to lead them. I was the lead of the front end team. I had nearly 9 to 10 members. So as a beginner and being a lead, giving tasks, doing a lot of things that I even didn't think that I will do it in the beginning. Then we had a lot of mentors coming, so I had to present all of my teamwork through the mentors. They were from Microsoft, Oracle, Azure, everywhere. They were really skilled programmers and everything. So this made me, I think, more stronger in talking and everything, in confidence. Yeah, so this was, and after that, after 3 months and a half working for Jubix, and then I applied to nearly 150 companies. You need to be consistent with applying them too. That's the key too. As much as you can, as much as more possibles you will have. Then after that, I post a post in LinkedIn about the companies that were not accepting people without experience. So I wanted to fill that. So I made a really long text about it. I got more than 3 or 4 interviews. But then I got the HR of my company texted me, commented me there, sent the CV and everything. I had to pass 4 interviews, 3 interviews, and 1 test assignment. And in the end, I got the offer. And that is something I can't really explain.
All right, so let me recap this. You first took on a project from a random person reaching out to you on LinkedIn because you knew that having experience, even if unpaid, was important because it makes it easier for other employers to trust you that you already have experience. And then after a few months, you were kind of like tired of companies always asking for experience, and you posted a message on LinkedIn kind of complaining about this. And because you were complaining about this, companies who actually were willing to give you an opportunity, they decided to interview you. One of them was your current company.
Yes, totally.
That's amazing. I think it's so often that we don't realize that the best opportunities don't come from the most obvious places. We believe that, of course, applying to jobs, it's part of the process. You have to apply to a lot of jobs. But I always remind people of these statistics, like 80% of the jobs are never posted online. They're filled through your network, right? You know someone who knows someone who is good for the job. I'm going to invite that person to interview because that's much easier than having to post this online and meet a lot of random people to choose one at the end. So networking is huge, but so is doing things differently. And making a good LinkedIn post where you talk in a professional, respectful, constructive way about the industry, that shows critical thinking, right? That shows that you're thinking differently. And that's exciting. That is attractive. That is like, we want people like that in our team. So I'm going to reach out to that person, and he's complaining that companies are not giving them opportunities without experience. I'm going to show them that there are companies doing things better. Like, you were challenging the market, and the market wanted to accept the challenge. And I think it's brilliant. I don't know if you planned this, but in retrospective, like, it makes so much sense that it worked out.
No, I just posted because I started to get really demoralized, or am I using the correct word?
Yeah, no.
I was losing hope, kind of, because after 3 months applying, getting interviews without experience, I wanted that. But yeah, now I have, as I mentioned before, I'm working for a really good company. I have a really good staff, a really good team, as leads, as everybody. They are fully supportive. I'm progressing, but it's because of them, because they are pushing me. I have tasks, do that. I don't know. I can ask. Everybody will help. I didn't change nature of working from Microverse to Jubix to Master WiZR. So everywhere was the same nature, the same culture. And this is why I like the most, because I was really prepared for this. And I was prepared for all the details that will happen and everything, because Microverse prepares you being fully serious and being fully professional. And I could see that in different programmers and everything. But yes, just who wants to do that, please do it. Be serious, work hard, and you will be a developer in 10 months.
That's amazing. You mentioned the company did like 4 interviews. What were those 4 interviews about?
The first one, a phone screen. It was more than just a call. Then I had the technical interview. I had a test assignment. Then I had the director interview. And after that, I had another interview with one of the members. So it was more than conversation, but I didn't get the approval still. And everything happened Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Wow, super fast.
Yeah, and I got the offer. I got the call on Monday, and I got that they want to do the offer, and I got the offer on Tuesday.
That's amazing. That's just like eight days for the whole process. That's really good. Big question: did you negotiate the job offer?
No, I didn't negotiate because I asked the range. They gave me the middle of that, and I was really okay with that. I didn't ask for more or less, but I have the space for improvement because I will have the evaluation of performance and everything. And for me, it was really okay. Can manage, I can really good manage with it. And now I'm just working hard, as hard than yesterday. I really want, I really want to use that, do everything better than you did yesterday. So
That's a great, I don't know, approach or mentality. And I asked the question about negotiation because I guess there are two sides to this. On one side, it's really important that you know what success means to you. So often we let other people's opinions, other people's realities, we let the media, determine what success is. And who cares? As long as you are happy with what you have, that's all that matters, right? On the other side, right, most people do not negotiate their offers, but the people who do, we have statistics internally, all the students who negotiate their job offers, on average, their salary is 35% higher. And the reality is that when the time comes, you're so excited about the job offer, imposter syndrome might kick in a little bit. You might think, well, if I negotiate, they might end up making the offer to someone else, or they might be withdrawing the offer. And I always say this: no one ever in the history of Microverse lost a job offer because they negotiated it. So it is a resource that you can use that will, in most cases, like increase your offer, your salary a little bit. But at the same time, I'll repeat the most important thing: only you know what success looks like for you, and whether you negotiate or not, whether like you're working here or there, like what's important. And it sounds like they're like you're getting not just a very good salary, but also great mentorship, great a product that you like working on, you're learning fast, you have a team that you like. Like, to me, that looks a lot like success. And I mean, I think that you should be very proud of yourself.
thanks a lot. I just because this was my first real job and I started my career here, so I tripled my salary as bartender, and I was happy with that, because in that, if you check and if you see how the salaries are here and comparing with my salary, I'm really high with a lot of workers here. So this is why I was happy with it. I was thankful. Okay, this is good for me. For now, I started it. Okay, what will happen now? It's up to me, and I have room for improvements, and that is just continuing. So yeah, pretty much. I don't doubt that that will go higher and higher.
I have no doubts about it. And whenever you're ready for the next job, we have coaches that are specialized in helping people with their second jobs, their third jobs, and fourth jobs. And salary increases are huge. We have a lot of companies that we can introduce you to. This is something I do only with people who make the time and have the courage to participate in a lunch and learn like you, Donor. But if you're ever looking for a job, you can reach out to me directly and I'll personally help you. I can't do this with all the students, but it's kind of a little gesture of appreciation for the time you're putting here. And I think you're clearly showing that you're someone special, a normal human being with a special
work harder.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that the companies like. I would be happy to share, whenever you're looking for the next opportunity. But it sounds like you're super happy where you are today, which is, it doesn't get better than that. I hope you get to continue growing and learning a lot where you are. I'm very excited to see how you grow in your career. I'm very grateful to be part of this journey. And maybe we can wrap up with a question. We have been answering most of the questions kind of directly or indirectly, but there was a question was like, if I'm not 100% sure of joining Microverse, right? What's your advice? And Donner, I want you to be completely honest. Like, I'm not asking this question because I want you to tell people join Microverse, but how can someone who is making this decision decide, is this good or is this bad? In which cases Microverse might not be a good idea, in which cases this is a good idea?
If you want to be successful through the Microverse, the first thing that you have to do is, of course, some people, I totally understand it. I had the opportunity from my family because they said they will support me, so I didn't work or did anything else, just Microverse. So I think the best thing for it is to be here, work The only thing that you have to be stressful, it has to be the microverse, and that has to be only that. But to be sure, if you want to join or not, I will get back to me again and say, because I needed somebody to keep me in the straight line. So if you want somebody to keep your seriousness and to have the program and everything ready, you just have to learn. You just have to learn, progress. This is why Microverse is, and this is why Microverse is for. And of course, as I mentioned it before, you're going to have the community and everything. So be sure for it. You don't have to doubt it.
I guess that's the main blocker, right? Either doubting ourselves or doubting others, doubting the school, the program, the government. And I mean, like, I guess in many parts of the world, almost in every country, like we are so used, like other people letting us down, governments letting us down. Something that to me, by design, it's really important about Microverse is that we don't make a single cent unless students get jobs where they make at least $1,000 a month. So like, I wake up every day and I go to bed every day just thinking, what can I do tomorrow? What can I do today so that more people get to those jobs? Because if that doesn't happen, I lose my job. Everybody in the company loses their job. Like, I love my job. So like, that's something to me that, can we guarantee that 100% of the people that we accept will make it to the end, will get your job? Like, no, it doesn't happen on 100% of the cases, right? I can share some statistics. Like right now, around 65% of the people who start Microverse complete Microverse, 65%. Why? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I would just add to your sentence about it doesn't depend to you. You are giving everything, you are giving the program everything. I said it earlier. This depends on us because we have to apply, we have to work, we have to have projects and everything. So you make us ready for everything. We are really prepared for as technical, as soft skills, and everything else. But in the end, it's going to be us who's going to find jobs, and that will be maybe, yes, now I have seen that you are making partnership with a lot of companies that are giving opportunities and everything. That's a plus, of course. But in the end, it's up to us. Everything will be.
I agree, but just so you see the level of worry that we get to, I'll share something that we are working on right now. We have noticed that larger than desirable number of people are kind of like plagiarizing. So like, they're copying the projects of other people to be able to make it to the deadline at the end of the week. And, we always say, if you do that, yes, you're going to make it to the next week, but we'll have you learn something. No. So at the end of the program, you might complete the program. You're not going to get a job because you didn't learn. But at the same time, we are the ones who are putting the pressure there with the deadline on Friday, that if you don't meet it, you have to repeat the whole week. So we are thinking right now, okay, first of all, we need to get much better at detecting when someone is plagiarizing. Why? Because we want to punish? No, it's because if that happens, there is a reason. Those people are not getting the right support. Maybe they're not ready for the intensity of the program. Whatever the case is, the most honest, the most sensible thing to do is to tell those people, hey, you're plagiarizing. Let us understand the reason so that we can find a way to help you. Even if the way to help is to tell you you're not ready for the program yet. Because otherwise, it's what people call idiot compassion. You think you're being compassionate by letting people keep moving to the end of the program. At the end of the program, they're not going to get a job. They're going to be disappointed. We have invested a lot of time in those people. Like, the most honest thing to do is to say, hey, either we can help you and we'll get better at helping you, or we can't help you yet. And then we're going to be honest and we'll tell you we can't help you yet. So like, this is the way that we think. It's always about either we find a way to help you or we find a way to be honest with you. But doing something else that is not one of those two things, it's just a waste of time for you and for us. So like, this is what happens when you make your success as a school or as a company conditioned to the success of the students, right? It gets you to think this way, and it's really hard, by the way. We have to work really hard to make this work. But hey, 65% of the people who start are completing the program. 90% of the people who complete the program are in jobs. 90%, right? The other 10%, life gets complicated. It's not their skills, it's something else happening in their lives, but 90% are in jobs, right? So as you said, Donor, it's about trusting the system, trusting the incentives of the program, and then just working really hard. It's not gonna be easy. You did 2 months working from bed. I think it doesn't get harder than that, or at least it's a great example of hard work. And yeah, I'm really proud of you, Donard, and I'm really excited to see you like growing in your career. I hope that I get to be a part of that as you continue with your next steps. And how can people get in touch with you if they want to ask you a question, if they want advice, if they want to be part of your network?
First, thank you, Ariel, for what you said. I really appreciate it. About connecting with me, we can use LinkedIn. Just reach out to me. I will respond immediately. If it's not immediately, please be understandable because I work and sometimes I cannot see it. But we can talk through LinkedIn, through Slack. I'm in, of course, I'm in the group of the channel of Microverse. So whenever you want, you are free to reach out to me, and I will respond to anything that you want to know.
Awesome. I will share in the chat, which works for me because I'm I guess an admin now. Your LinkedIn profile. If anybody wants like reach out, you can do that. Donor, I don't want to take more of your time. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It is very inspiring, as I was expecting. So thank you. I'm sure a lot of other people found it very inspiring as well. I'm sure a lot of people will get to do things, will get to believe in themselves because of what you did today, sharing your story. And I think that's pretty awesome. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ariel, and thank you for having me here. Whenever it's gonna have something related to Microverse, I will be available all the time. So just please reach out to me, and I will be there whenever you want it. And
I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I hope to see you soon. Hopefully, doing a launch and learn with me a year from today. That always kind of gives me a lot of purpose to help you. I hope it gives you some kind of purpose to continue working really hard, whatever it takes to keep you motivated, to keep you focused. Just believe in yourself. I look forward to seeing you in a lunch and learn next time. All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Thank you for joining.